Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and I am coming at you with a WIP and chat today. We're working on Satura by Margaret Morales. And yes, that is actually what the wheel spun for me to work on this time. So I'm excited to get to work on this with you guys. And let's get started. Let's see. So last time I did a WIP and chat last week. I mentioned that I had a new camera setup and a new mic setup, and to let me know whether it was all working okay. And it looks like I got it almost perfect. I had not thought to set the focus lock, and so every time my diamond painting pen went in front of the camera lens, it would try to focus on that instead of on the drill field, which was understandably distracting for me when I was editing, and then at least one other person in the comments. So I apologize about that. I'm not sure how many of you actually watch the screen and how many treat it more as a podcast and just listen, but I have fixed that for this time. I remembered to set the autofocus. All the feedback about the sound was good, so I think we're okay there. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I think I want to cut this a little bit more because it went a little off the rails. There. So yeah, how was your week, everybody? Mine was kind of uneventful for the most part. I think I mentioned last week that we had gotten a pretty good snowfall here in my area on Friday. It wasn't very deep, but it was very icy. And so what ended up happening was that they canceled my son's school on, well, Monday was a day off anyway, because that was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But they canceled it on Tuesday, and then they canceled it on Wednesday. And then they said Thursday was going to be an hour late start. And then Thursday came around and it was even more icy and slick, and they canceled school on Thursday too. So Casey was overjoyed with his almost full week off, except we told him that they will probably have to make all that up at the end of the year. And then he was less happy, but he still enjoyed the unexpected time off. So, and of course, I work from home, so I worked the entire time, and I'm pretty glad that it doesn't prevent me from working when it is bad weather, because I wouldn't want to get that far behind. So my husband can work from home, but with his job, he has to do a lot of stuff that involves hardware, and you have to be on site to do that. He's a network analyst, and so he has to actually go to where the machines are and be able to fiddle with them if they're broken or if he's setting up a new one. So he did manage to mostly get everything done from home this week until things had melted off enough that it was safe to leave the house. And then he was able to go pick up the slack on the things that had been waiting. So I was grateful for that, because the roads were pretty bad, and our driveway is on a hill. So it's a pretty steep angle for our driveway. And not only does it make it difficult mostly to get back into if it's icy, but also to walk to the car because, the car door is going to be on that angled surface. So if it's icy, you're liable to fall on your butt. So we just kind of hunkered down, and luckily my husband had thought to do a big grocery shop. I think I mentioned last week, before the weather got bad. So we had enough to keep us going until things calmed down. So I was really glad about that. I did have to venture out on Saturday, the day after my, stomach attack pain that I was having. I was feeling better and I needed to, no, it was Sunday. So 2 days after that, I was feeling better and I needed to go pick up my prescription from the pharmacy because I was due to take it on Monday. And so I bundled up and we went out and my husband helped me defrost the car, and it took about 15 minutes to get it drivable, but none of us fell. And I was in 4-wheel drive the entire way to the pharmacy, which is across town because that's where they have my medication in stock, unfortunately. But it was all the way across town, and none of the roads were clear. Like usually if we get snowfall, the roads in the suburbs are going to get rocked maybe, but they're still going to have a lot of snow on them. But the main roads will get traversed enough that you can see the, asphalt. This time it was still just covered in a thick sheet of snow and ice. Luckily, it was very dry snow, and at that point on Sunday, it wasn't bad enough to where it was really slippery. It did get that way later on in the week, but Sunday was the perfect day for me to go. I got there, I waddled my way in through the snow to the store, and I picked up my prescription and I went home. Actually, I tried to stop at a couple fast food places to get the boys some lunch, and most of them were closed. I guess their employees couldn't make it in, which I totally get that. And so the only thing open was the McDonald's close by our house. And because it was the only thing open, I think I waited in the drive-through line for I want to say half an hour. So it was a pretty long wait, but it was okay. I was listening to my audiobook and I wasn't in a hurry. So that was fine. Let's see, what else has been going on? The snow is pretty much gone now. Today is Friday night that I'm recording this. And Casey went back to school today. The one day this week that he went to school. And we were able to get some grocery shopping done, but they were low on stock because the trucks hadn't been able to come and replenish the stock in so long. But luckily the things that we needed, they mostly had. So that was good. I have been really enjoying the spinning the wheel to see which WIP I should work on next. And I have decided that I'm going to spin section to section rather than day to day. So, because I was considering just spinning the wheel once per day and working on that kit for my whole diamond painting allotment of time. But I thought it would be more fun to spin each time I was going to work on a section, and it also keeps it a little bit, it gives it a little more variety, I guess. So that way, if I'm working on a kit that has more confetti, then I'm not just working on confetti all night if I wanted to do more diamond painting, which is the whole point of having more than one WIP in, for me anyway, is to like kind of change up what kind of WIP you're working on so that you don't get too burnt out on one particular type. So yeah, I've been spinning the wheel each time I finish a section so that I get to see what my next project is that I'm going to switch to, or whether I'm staying on the same one or whatnot. And I found that it actually motivates me to diamond paint more than when I wasn't using the spinning wheel, because it makes me really excited to finish a section and be able to spin and see what I get to work on next. And I like that about it. The other thing I like about it is that when I have multiple WIPs, or when I have in the past, what I tend to do is be too lazy to like shift everything I'm working on. So like all of my setup here, I'm lucky enough to be able to leave it set up because this is in my office and I can close the door and the cats won't bother it and stuff. So in the past I've been like, oh, this is already set up. I don't feel like switching it out, so I'll just work on what's already here. And then that ended up resulting in me pretty much just working on one kit until it was done and not doing what I wanted to do, which is really kind of go back and forth between multiple WIPs. So this is forcing me, this wheel spinny thing is forcing me to actually work on more than one regularly, and I'm really enjoying that about it. My son Fletcher, who started diamond painting with that wheel this way and was the one who kind of made me want to try it, he's now using that wheel to decide the next chapter of which book he'll read, because he's reading more than one book at a time. He's got 3 books that he's kind of rotating between. So not only is he using the wheel for diamond painting, but now he's using it for books too, which I don't know if I could do that as well with books, because I tend to really just pick one and work my way through it unless they're in different formats. So for instance, most of the books that I read, I actually listen to on Audible or audiobook, because I like to have my hands busy, and that way I can read and diamond paint or read and do something else. But once in a while, there's books that I have either in person or on my Kindle. Like, I don't have a Kindle, but I have the Kindle app on my phone. And so if I have a book like that I'm reading, I'll often read that in conjunction with a book that I'm listening to on Audible, because what tends to happen is I'll really feel like reading in order to help me get to sleep at night. And so I can't listen to an audiobook because, you know, I'm in my bed and my husband's asleep already, so I can't listen to the audiobook comfortably. So I will read a book on my phone, which I know is probably really not ideal because, you know, you've got that blue light, but it works for me. It tends to help me go to sleep, and that's my focus a lot of the time because I have insomnia, and it can be really hard for me to shut my brain off and calm down enough to go to sleep, and reading definitely helps with that sometimes. So I will often read a book that way at the same time as I have another book going, you know, in progress on Audible. But So for that reason, I don't think it would be helpful for me to spin a wheel to decide what I'm going to read next, because I specifically have those different versions that I read at specific times. So speaking of books, I am pretty much exactly halfway through book 2 of Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I think I talked about in my last WIP and Chat that I had finished book 1 and started book 2. And this one is going a little bit slower just because I haven't had as much time recently to listen. I've been pretty busy with work and stuff. But I'm still enjoying this series a lot. And I did watch some review videos about it, and they kind of run the gamut. People seem to either really love them or really despise them. And I can understand that. I don't think they're like the epitome of literature or whatever, but I do think that they're really fun. And when I read a book, it's because I want to escape and I want to have fun. And that's what these books are. They're just fun. What I like about them, Crescent City in particular, is that there are so many different types of people in the world that she has built. So, and by people, I mean species, I guess. So there's humans, but there's also fairies, fae, and shifters, and angels, and demons, and werewolves, and not just werewolves, though, which is cool because she's got a lot of different species that are shifters from different kinds of animals, like fawns or snakes even. So that I feel like is something that isn't done as much. Oh, and there's mer people and all that stuff. So yeah, little sprites. It's just fun to read about all of those different kinds of creatures in one setting trying to live together in a city, in a world, and how their different personalities and stuff kind of conflict. So the politics of it is really interesting. The angels have they're the ruling class, but not just any angels. There's a special type of angel that are seen as gods. I have my own suspicions about that, but I guess we'll see what happens. But the humans definitely get the short end of the stick. They are on the low end of the totem pole, and they are kind of rebelling. Not kind of. They are trying to rebel against the way things are. And our protagonist is half human, but she lives among, they're called the Vanir, which is all those different kinds of species are collectively called the Vanir. So she's half fae and half human, so she lives in the city with all the Vanir. The first book is kind of more of a murder mystery, and the second book, because they solve the murder in the first book, obviously. The second book is more getting into the politics and the war, the rebellion from the humans. So I'm interested to see how that ends up at the end of this book, because the third book is coming out at the end of this month. So I'll be curious to see what the focus of that one is going to be. And then, I'll probably read that next. And then lately I have been just on a spree of watching different booktubers recommend their favorite books that they read in 2023, or their favorite books from this genre or what have you. And so Every time I watch one of those and something sounds interesting, I run over to Goodreads and I add to my want to read shelf with some of the ones that sound really interesting to me. And there's so many now that I have no idea what I'm going to read when I'm done with the Crescent City books. I might have to ask my friends to vote or something. I don't know. But this will be the first time in a while, actually, that I haven't had something lined up to read next, like a plan for what I was going to read next. So that's interesting. It's kind of exciting to be able to look through all the possibilities and just decide on a whim what I think would be the most interesting to read next. But it's exciting, but it's also a little bit daunting because there's so many I want to read. It's going to be hard to choose. The other day I wasn't feeling like I was in the mood to really read. So instead I wanted to watch a movie, and I wanted to watch something that was kind of like a mind trip thriller. I was really looking for something that involved time travel or alternate universes or dimensions. Those movies are kind of hard to find, but time travel is some of my favorite subject matter when it comes to movies and books. I really love when movies and books incorporate time travel into the story. So I was really looking for something like that. Oops. And I came across a trailer for this one that was called Fractured. And it had Sam Worthington in it, who is from Avatar the movie, with the blue people. And I really like Sam Worthington as an actor. So I thought I'd give it a try. It looked promising, it looked like it could be some kind of alternate dimension thing going on. Because basically the story starts with him and his family on the way home from a road trip to go to the in-laws for Thanksgiving. And they stop at a gas station, and basically an accident happens where his daughter, who is about, I want to say 5, 4 or 5, she gets spooked by a dog that is acting kind of aggressive, and she falls. He tries to catch her, but she falls into some construction. So the rest of the movie is him, he rushes her to the hospital, and his wife goes with her into the CT scan, but they can only take one person back at a time. And so he stays in the waiting room to wait for them, and he falls asleep. And then when he wakes up, it's hours later, and they're still not back, and he's like, what the heck is going on? So he goes to ask about it, and the nurse at the front desk says, well, the shift has changed, and all the people who were working here before have gone home, and I don't have a record of your daughter being a patient here at all. So now all of a sudden, the hospital's saying they've never seen his daughter or his wife, and he's freaking out, trying to figure out what happened to his family, and it's a ride. It's not exactly what I was kind of expecting or hoping for, and I'm not going to spoil it, because there's some twists along the way, some twists and turns. So I don't know that I'd recommend it. It was a good movie, and it kept me on the edge of my seat for sure. But if I had known what it was going to be when I decided to watch it, I probably wouldn't have watched it just because I know my own triggers, and this one touched on some of them. And I can't really say, that's the thing though, is I can't really say what the triggers are without kind of alerting you to some of the twists in the movie. So anyway, yeah, that's a tough one. But if you like horror, thriller, kind of mind-bendy stuff, you might enjoy it. Definitely no time travel. But yeah, I won't say anything more about what happens. But yeah, I don't often watch movies. Most of the time I'm either going to be listening to an audiobook or listening to a YouTube video. I just had watched pretty much everything I wanted to watch on YouTube that day and thought it might be fun to do, like, I was really in the mood for thriller horror. So it was a good shake up of the routine, I guess. And now my movie watching itch has been scratched for a while. I've been having trouble lately. Sometimes when I tend to go in like a round with my depression and anxiety, where I'll either be anxious or I'll be depressed. Sometimes there's a bit of both, but usually one is at the forefront. And for quite a while, it's been the depression lately. And so part of the symptoms I have when I'm depressed is that I struggle to find enjoyment in the things that I usually enjoy. And a lot of times the way that looks is that I just can't settle on what I want to consume or do. And a lot of times it'll leave me just kind of doom scrolling on my phone or playing a phone game. And then I end up feeling regretful that I passed the time that way instead of doing something more productive. But recently, my brain's been trying to tell me that I want to write again. Because I used to do a lot of writing, actually. Fun fact, when The Sims 3 was the most recent Sims game, I had a Sims 3 story that I actually finished. It took me 3 years. I think I mentioned this before in a video, but if you're new, it took me 3 years, but I did publish that on like multi-times a week basis for 3 years and went through 15 generations of this one family in my game and told a 15 generation story. Yeah, it was kind of wild, but that's the only time I've ever actually finished a writing project. And I have been writing since I was a kid, actually. I wanted to write children's books when I was a kid, and I did draw some of those, but they're, like real simple, and I haven't revisited them since then. And when I was in high school, I started writing a fantasy novel, and actually I started writing several different fantasy novels, and I never finished any of those. And in my adult life, I've had several ideas for novels and graphic novels or comics that I have wanted to work on. And I feel like I have to choose my hobbies because otherwise I won't finish anything in any of them. So if I want to do art, for example, I feel like I can't also write because there's just not enough time to complete projects if I'm doing so many different projects. And it kind of bums me out because I have really cool, at least what I think are really cool ideas for especially the novels that I want to write. It's a series, but I just don't know that it'll ever happen. And it makes me sad because it's everything I would want to read, and there's got to be other people out there who would enjoy the same kind of thing. And I think it would be really fun. But I also know myself enough to know that I have a lot of trouble with long form writing, because what tends to happen is that I'll have the basic idea, but I won't know how to fill in the blanks in between the beginning and ending and make that entertaining and connect all the dots, and it's a little overwhelming. And part of that is because I've never written a book, and I'm sure that if I had enough time to, or set my mind to actually, I missed one X, darn it, to actually completing some books, I might gain that skill or improve that skill. Something always prevents me from trying, and I think it's, I don't know, fear of failure or fear that I won't be good at it, and the good idea that I have will go to waste because I won't be able to do it justice. But I mean, it's already going to waste because I'm not doing anything with it. So I've been kind of half trying to tell myself to just do it already, but then it comes back around to there's just not enough time. Like, I don't know. Writers, they pretty much have to do that full time if they're gonna complete their big epic sagas and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have lots of different hobbies? And if so, how do you balance what to work on and feel like you make progress on any of them? I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably a diamond painter. And I make more progress on diamond painting than probably anything else because it is the one hobby I have that's just truly about relaxation, and I don't have to like try to figure out what my next step is going to be. So it's not nerve-wracking or frustrating at all. And so, I mean, unless you call reading a hobby, which I guess it is, and that one also I do completely for fun and relaxation. So, although someone did comment on my last video where I talked about how YouTube kind of turns us into one-dimensional people if we want to be successful, but they mentioned that they would have a lot of fun listening to like booktube content, but with diamond painting whip and chat kind of background. And a lot of my videos are that way anyway, because I tend to talk a lot about the books I'm reading and stuff. But yeah, I think that would be fun too, is to just like use whip and chats to discuss book stuff and kind of tie them together that way. One of the reasons I wouldn't want to have like a actual booktube channel is because I don't want to lose books being fun for me. And I feel like with booktube channels, you're kind of expected to read a certain amount of books per year, and so that you can make enough content for your channel. And I don't want to have to read to the trends or try to chase content that way with reading, because I really just want to read what I want. So I think it would work better if I was going to incorporate book stuff to just do it within my existing channel somehow. So I don't know, maybe you'll see and hear more book discussion from me. hopefully that's something that interests you guys. I know at least one of you is interested because you said so. One of my favorite book channels on YouTube is actually, I love the way that he's set up his channel because he doesn't have to like kind of chase the trends or anything. He just kind of reviews books or book series and talks about why someone might want to read them. And he does often like read or reread the books he's going to talk about, but he gets to kind of choose what his next subject is going to be. And if he's already read the books, he might not have to reread them. So I like the way he does it, but he does it so well that I would just watch his channel and not try to do that kind of content. But yeah, if you're interested, I think I might have mentioned his channel before, but definitely go check out The Book Guy. His content is fantastic. I actually signed up to be a patron on his new Patreon because I really stand behind his messaging of not gatekeeping and really just trying to encourage everyone to read more books. So I wanted to support him in that journey, and so I signed up for his Patreon. And he posts cute pictures of his cats and stuff like that. And his wife is a really talented graphic artist, and she makes like pins and purses and stuff in her shop. And they have some new purses coming out soon, I think, that I missed the Kickstarter for, but I really want to try to get my hands on one because it's like shaped like a book and designed like a fairy tale book, and it's so cool. So I'm hoping I can manage to snag one of those. But yeah, so they're really fun. They're from Australia, and just really enjoy their dynamic. And his channel, it's got a lot of humor and a lot of focus on making reading attainable and interesting to everybody. Oh, I just missed a bunch of H's too. I swear. I probably won't finish this entire section on this WIP and chat because I am starting to run out of things to talk about unless I want to start on a whole. I have written down some topics to chat about in case I need to fill time in WIP and chats, because there are some weeks where there's just not as much happening and I don't really know what to talk about with you guys. And so I wrote down, I'm starting to keep a list of topics that I can discuss so that my WIP and chats are more of the normal length that people are used to instead of being like 20 minutes. But this one I've done pretty good at rambling on. I think we're like 40 minutes in, and that's pretty good. I'm not doing too bad this time. Gotta get the H's out again. Jeez. I missed this little guy right down here. And then a bunch way up here. A whole bunch. Just completely did not see those. Do you guys do that too, where invariably as soon as you're done putting away a color, you'll notice that you left a whole bunch out, or maybe just one? Sometimes that's worse when you like left out just one and you have to get it all back out for just one more. I think that might be a universal thing with us diamond painters, but maybe not. Maybe some people's attention to detail is good enough that they don't miss things like that. The nails that I'm wearing today are from a set that I have worn before, and I had to really dig because obviously they send a bunch of different sizes, and I used the normal sizes that are correct for my nails the first time. So now I'm using sizes that aren't 100% correct, and they still work, but they're not as comfortable or as secure as it would be if I was just wearing the ones that are the right size. But at least this way I get to like really get my money's worth because I'm using them twice, right? Ever since I found this style of nail, which is not only press-on nails, but like press-on nails where I don't have to use glue. These just have stickers already on them, and it's you just kind of take off the sticker backing and stick the nails on, and they last for like a week usually. These are like my perfect solution because I've tried it all, guys. Nail polish chips off literally the next hour after I put some on. Anything I could do at home that is more intensive than just painting my nails or putting on these sticker type press-ons, I will never do. Like, I know myself, and it's too much work. I'm not going to deal with it. I'll never feel like doing it. So gel nails or anything involving like a UV light or even press-on nails that involve messy glue, I just don't want to deal with it. And I've gone to the salon and I've gotten acrylic nails done, and I do love how those look and how strong they are, but I do not love how much it costs, number one. And once you do take them off, I feel like they really do damage your nails if you do them long enough. And so, yeah. And then, of course, when they start to grow out, if you don't touch them up very regularly, they look a little weird because, they'll have grown out and there will be a missing spot. So everything I've used before has had some kind of issue that's made me unhappy. And if I don't wear anything, then I tend to nervously pick at my nails. But these Kiss and Press stick-on nails have done the trick. Like, they stay on long enough that they're worth it for the price, because they're like around $10 each set. And like I said, I'm using these for the second time, so that's like really $5 per use. But they stay on long enough that I feel like they're worth what you pay for them. And yet they don't stay on so long that they start to look bad because your nails have grown out. So yeah, I'm really just enjoying the heck out of these. And today I had to go order more because the reason I'm wearing some that I've worn in the past is because I didn't realize I was actually out of new sets that I haven't worn yet, except for one Halloween set I never got to around Halloween time. And I felt that would look a little weird to wear in January. So I ordered myself some new ones for springtime / end of winter. And I'm excited to get those in the next week or so. Speaking of things that I ordered, I got an email one of these days this last week that hotel bookings for Dragonsteel were opening up already. So Dragonsteel Con is a convention that is taking place in Utah next December. It's a con that's all centered around Brandon Sanderson's books, my favorite author. And this is a special one because he is releasing the 5th book in his 10-book epic series, The Stormlight Archive. And the 5th book kind of wraps up the first arc. I think I talked about this already, but I don't expect everybody to have watched every one of my videos. Anyway, the point is that all of my kids have read his books, or at least a lot of his books, if not all of his books. And so they all want to come with me to this. And so I got on and I booked our room. I'm so excited. I did not know that, there we go. I did not know that they were going to open hotel bookings that soon. And I kind of panicked a little bit because I still don't know 100% that what our finances are going to be like, and if my husband's if I can get him to agree for us to go. But I also didn't want to wait and have the hotels book up. So luckily, they did say that you can cancel up to the day before check-in without penalty. So I was like, well, might as well then. So I booked that room, and then I told my older 2 kids, and then they that same day they called me on Discord, and we started going over like our itinerary and plans, and like what our budget should be, and flights and all that stuff, just so that we could kind of start planning the trip. And I am so excited. I've been to a couple cons in my life, but it's been a long time since we went to the last one, and even longer than that since I went to the one before that. So, and none of them have been specifically focused on like my favorite books. So this is like really exciting, and it's even more exciting because my kids are going to be there with me, and they've all read these books and are fans of these books too, which is like a dream come true for me, honestly. So yeah, I am really looking forward to that, even though it's a year away almost. I'm hoping we can pull it off. But at least we have a room for us. You can't actually buy tickets to the actual con yet because those are not on sale. But we've got the room. We're ready. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. I feel like this one was a little bit less structured than I tend to try and make these. I kind of just rambled a lot, but maybe you were entertained. Let me know what you think about me kind of talking about different topics during my WIP and chats, and if you have any topics that you would be interested in hearing about. Yeah, I will definitely take suggestions if you have anything you'd like to hear me talk about. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some diamond painting done, or we're doing something fun while we chatted. Thank you so much for watching, and also if you leave a comment, thanks in advance. I really love reading you guys' comments, and I do respond to each one, even though it usually takes me about a week to respond to all of them. I know I'm slow, I'm sorry. Part of the reason that it takes me so long is because I actually spend most of my time on YouTube on my other channel, which is my art channel, Pixie Sticks, because that's where I've subscribed to everything, and I have my homepage with all the content that it recommends me and everything. So when I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching on that channel. And so I don't often switch over to my other channel to type back to comments and stuff. and I need to be better about that. But anyway, I still want you to know that if you leave comments, I appreciate every single one of those. So thanks for being here, and I will catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.